Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Red Review channel. Today, we have a device from our friends over at Tesstudio that actually solves a really interesting problem that we have. The Model X has it, the Model S has it, but for some odd reason, the Cybertruck does not. And that's the ability to turn your screen, whether you can swivel it left or right, up and down, being able to have it pan over so that you can actually look at it dead on as the driver. This is very helpful when you're driving the vehicle because now, opposed to you having to glance over and may have a glare, you can actually turn the screen and have it look at you. This is actually a really great feature. It's available on other Teslas, so today we have the aftermarket install for you right here in this box. Don't forget to look in the description below to figure out how you can get some great discounts, not only on this item, but many other Tesla items. We have some great discounts from our vendors. Please go ahead and check those out. Also, leave a comment below about what you think of the swivel or if you're going to use it or order it, and let me know what you think. Outside of that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. As promised, I have the Tesstudio screen swivel here, and it comes with a few different pieces here. Here we have the box. There's not much to it, believe it or not, provided you have the proper tools, which they mostly provide. See, we have essentially a trim tool, which we've gotten used to in several of our kits. They do include trim tools. We have about a 10mm wrench and an extension cord for the USB-C cable. So that plus a few bolts that we're going to put in. So those are all the tools we're going to have. But the piece is actually pretty simple. Here we have one of the trim pieces. I believe this trim piece is going to go on the back wall, and it's going to allow you not to see the wires. It's going to mount onto the, actually, no, I take it back. This piece right here, it's actually going to mount onto the back side of the screen itself, and it's going to hide the wires there. We have another piece right here. I had it right the first time. This piece is actually going to mount onto the back side of the monitor, and we have a temperature sensor that's we have to reinstall there. That's not a big deal. It's just a plastic piece. It's a nice form plastic piece. Here's the piece for the temperature sensor that we're going to replace. And outside of that, we only have one other piece. And that is this nice, sturdy, hear it? That's hardened metal. That's straight metal. And this is what's actually going to hold the screen. The screen is going to mount on here, and it's going to be able to swivel on this little mount here. It's real tight so that it doesn't move, truth be told. I can't move it with my hand. I guess you need the screen on there with quite a bit of leverage. There we go. I can move it a little bit. Yeah. And it tilts up and down. So it takes quite a bit to move this thing around. So it's just not going to flop around on you while you're driving around. Thank goodness. I'm glad they thought about that. So we're going to mount all this and get it all connected. So I'm going to power off the truck only because I'm going to power off the truck only because I don't want it trying to do something like turn the heat on or something of that nature while I'm working on the screen, just to help avoid errors in the truck. That's all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to scroll down to safety, and then I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And there's a button down here that says power off, and I'm going to hit it. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to turn off the power? Place foot on brake to turn power back on. Power off. Now the whole truck is powered down. It's still connected to the batteries. That's okay. We're just disconnecting the screen. But truck's powered down. It's not going to try and do anything funny. So let's go ahead and remove that cable. Hey, so here we are underneath the screen. And we're going to use our trusty trim tool here. And we're going to take off this screen right here. There are a couple of notches underneath on both sides, and we're just going to remove this plate. All right, So we put that trim tool in here, pull that off. Then I'll put it in on the other side, pull that off. And this plate just plops down right here. And there's a wire that comes off the back of the temperature sensor, and we got to remove this wire from the back of here. That's all we're going to do. The little pin you got to press in here like that. And it releases. That's it right there. So there's a little rectangular hole here. I used a little screwdriver to press in on that, and that releases one side. And you just got to do it again on the other side. Nope, there's no pin on the other side. It just pulls out just like that. And just like that, here's your temperature sensor. We're going to keep this part. This is the temperature sensor. We're going to keep this part, and we're going to move it to the other plate. But for now, we're going to use our torque wrench, which is, if you look very closely at these screws, they're not your standard Phillips screwdriver screws. This is what we call torque screws. They include a Torx wrench, which you use to take off these screws. So we're just going to take these screws off and remove the temperature sensor. That's all we're getting ready to do. So it goes in here. And they're in there tight. These things were in here really tight. There we go. That's one screw. And we're going to take the other screw out. Let's see if we can do this. Go. There's the second screw. Now that you have both screws out, temperature sensor comes right on off, just like that. See? Now that you have both screws out, temperature sensor comes off, just like that. That's all there is to it. So we're going to put this piece aside. We're not going to reuse it, but we are going to keep this one, and we will reuse the temperature sensor. Okay, so here we are on the underside of the screen. Now that we have the panel and the temperature sensor removed, there's two really important things that we're going to do here. We're going to remove two screws from here. But before we do that, I'm going to try to get this plug out of here, because this plug has to be removed. What it is the connector for the back of the screen. And I think it might be easier if I get this connector out before I take the screen off. And the reason being is because there's a little thing that we got to slide off first and then remove in order to actually remove the plug. So we're going to try that. If it doesn't work out, I'll go ahead and take the screen off and not worry about it, I guess. All right, so here's the orange piece. This orange clip is a safety clip. That's all it is. It keeps this black clip from releasing from the back of the screen, and so that the USB-C cable doesn't come out of the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my screwdriver here, and I'm just going to push that backwards. That now releases this black clip, and now that's going to make it a lot easier to remove this. We can push up on the clip, and actually, because I have my screwdriver here, I could probably just push it back and pull the whole thing out now. Boom, there it is. That was really easy. And it will release just like that, and it comes off. That's all there is to it. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove these two bolts that are holding the screen on right here. We have a 10mm wrench. I'm just going to put this on here just like this, and we're just going to undo those. We're going to break those just like that. And I can take them out by hand. Now, I'm going to take the other one.
And the screen comes off just like that. You just pull it straight on out. We have this little trim on the back that we're going to have to remove, and we're going to get in there and take it off. So there's a little clip that is on the inside that you've got to release in order to pull the back of the trim off. Trying to use this pick here to get down to it because it's extremely difficult to get to, and it's not wanting to come off very easily. Okay, so this is just not working, so we're just going to have to do this the really hard way. Tesla obviously didn't mean for this to come out of here, so tell you what, we're just going to rip it off.
All right, so I'm not going to lie. Taking the trim off the back panel here was a bit of a challenge. There's a little pin that goes into this little metal bracket to take that pin off. It goes right here. I had to break it to get it off because I tried all kinds of ways to get it off. I finally just broke it, and I'm hoping it did not go into the screen. Worst comes to worst, if I really want to replace it, there's a QR code on here. I mean, this is a really simple panel. So if I really want to replace it and go back to the OEM specs on this monitor, then I don't think this will be much to pay for it to get another one. I'm not even sure I need that pin, truth be told, but you can see where I broke it off there. This sensor goes into this plate that we had removed earlier. It's only going to go one way. If you put it in this way, you can see the screw holes just don't line up. So we got to turn it over such that the screw holes line up. That's the only way it's going to go in. I have the original screws here that I got from the equipment before, so we're just going to go ahead and put that back in here, and we're just going to screw them back in. Going to grab my Torx wrench, and we're just going to screw those back in just like that. Let's just make sure that this is going in straight because these things are pretty tough. Yeah, it's going in. I think it's just because it's new plastic. All right, we got the screws installed. That's tight. That's not going anywhere. We're going to take this and set it aside for a moment while we get the rest of this back installed. This USB extension cable, and we're going to attach it to the USB wire that was here. But in order to do that, we've got to take this black safety clip off, and we're going to reattach it when we're done. So here's what we're going to do. It has these little clips that are on the side right here. Man, these things were not made to be taken off. Yeah, these things just broke right on off. Can't reuse this. Okay, so the safety cage clips, I mean, you can see it here. This is how it came off. These clips were not meant to be removed, so this whole cage is gone. There's no way you're going to be able to save this. So don't feel bad about breaking it, because guess what? They give you another one, and that's what you're going to use to put on the wire. So the safety cage is removed. So now that allows us to take this piece off, and with that safety cage removed, that's the piece that was the orange locking mechanism that we released earlier. And this is a safety item because you don't want the USB-C cable coming unplugged from the back of the screen while you're driving. That would be really, really bad. I mean, that's where our shifting controls on the screen are at. We have manual backups, but prefer not to use that if possible. It's only going to go on here one way. If you look real closely, it has a couple of angled edges, so it's only going to go on there one way. And that's how we're going to do the end of the other USB-C cable.
So here we go. We're just going to take the plug it right on here into the USB-C, and it should fit quite snugly. Be sure you get it straight on in so that it fits. Make sure you press it all the way in so that it fits. It should slide right on in. If you go in at a bit of an angle, it won't work. And there you go. We got to put our mounting bracket on, and it goes into the brackets of the Cybertruck just like that. It just slides in, and we're going to take our other bolts that we used earlier. I'm sorry. We're going to use the other bolts that we took off earlier, and we're going to put those right back in and secure the bracket to the truck. So let's go ahead and just screw these in. And this is what's going to hold the screen onto the dashboard here. We need to reattach the temperature sensor. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and attach the temperature sensor. We're going to first plug it in. There we go. Temperature sensor is plugged in. You can even hear the fan starting to whirl around in there. Here's the plate that goes on the Cybertruck itself. Going to run the cord through there, and then the rest of the plate is just going to push over and push into place. Just like that. Should be a nice snug fit. Make sure your temperature sensor is on the outside and your wire is routed such that it doesn't catch. It should be off the bottom of the plate. Now, at the end of the USB-C cable, we're now going to take the plate that goes on the back of the screen, and we're going to run our USB-C cable through that plate, and we're going to attach it to the screen. Just like this. There we go. Once it's in, we're going to take the little orange tab, push it down, and that's going to lock it into place so that the USB cord does not accidentally come unplugged from the screen while you're driving. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the plate back. So now that we got the screen mounted again, we're going to go ahead and test it. Yay, actually working. This is good. This is very good. So the screen is actually connected. It's booting back up again. Everything's working fine. So now we could go ahead and start securing the screen and putting everything to the way it should be. It is sitting a little bit lower than it was before, but that's okay. We can deal with that. I'm actually going to go into display. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it into screen clean mode so that while I'm working with the screen and getting it back into place, I'm not accidentally activating functions on the screen. So where this wire is coming out here, this is where it's going to go. And this slit that's right here, it's going to fit on this bracket here. And what's going to happen is, I just didn't think there was enough clearance for the bracket to be on top of the wire. But what's going to happen is this piece of plastic is just going to bend, and we're just going to put it in. So that's what we're getting ready to do. We're going to put it in just like this. You can see it. We're just going to put it in. We're going to pull the wire down, and we are just going to push this whole thing in, just like that. And we are going to put the screws in. So we're just going to screw the screws in here, and that's going to secure the screen to the swivel.
Okay, so I'm having trouble installing the temperature sensor, and it's a very interesting problem that I'm having here. The actual cover that goes on the vehicle, before I assembled, I made sure that all the pieces fit together just fine. But as you can see, this piece doesn't quite fit right. And it's because when they were all separate, it wasn't a problem. But the moment I put these bolts in, it actually squeezed the plastic piece together. And so, like I said, unless the laws of physics had changed, this is no longer fitting. This temp center fitting is too wide for the bracket. To get a little bit more play in there to work with. Man, I sure hope that's coming out. It's coming out. All right, we're going to take that out of there. And the reason being, now it expands. Boom, it fits. Oh, man. And while we have it out, we're going to just go ahead and close up the door. And we're going to make sure everything closes up while we're at it. See these tabs on the side? They've got to fit back there as well. There we go. They got that side. That's that side. Boom. It's in. So, trick is, leave one bolt out, then reinstall it. That's a pro trick there. And just like that, wires tucked away, temp sensor installed, brackets installed. Well, guess what, people? Guess what? We're done. Okay. Screen swivel installed, right? The screen is about half an inch to about an inch lower. And quite frankly, yeah, I do see a difference. If I was a little on the OCD side with my screen, I might have an issue with it. But I'm not really feeling as though it's that far off, because quite frankly, with the eye line, the top of the screen is kind of going, for me, almost with a little bit above my accent lights, which lets me see a little bit more of my dash. It's no longer hiding my dash. So it actually, in some ways, works out a little bit better. Now, if I actually sit in here like I'm driving, I can actually tilt the screen upwards to me, and I can actually look at it. Yeah, because that feels a lot more natural. That looks like the screen is designed for the driver. You're in tune with the vehicle at that point, because it's a lot easier to reach things. It's a lot easier to press buttons, get my Spotify, and bring up the car. It's just a lot easier to get to. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this a lot. It looks really good. So there were issues with the install, but it wasn't anything that was technically overwhelming. What it was is that I wasn't absolutely certain about what I was doing. I just wanted to be certain that it happened. Now, I've come to learn that there are quite a few females that watch my channel. And I know that we have a lot of mechanically inclined females that can do this job very easily. Can do it a lot better than me, truth be told. But there are some that are very hesitant to work on their vehicles, hesitant to tear things apart sometimes. And that's one of the reasons why I do these videos. It's to help people that don't have that confidence to be able to do things like this and be able to enjoy the benefits of these accessories, opposed to paying somebody a lot of money to do these things. And so my objective is to point out those things that I think you can do at home fairly easily, and I think that you can accomplish. Because as I say it over and over, believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't forget to look in the description below for the discount codes. Just follow our affiliate links. I'll have a link to the screen swivel in the description, and you can go ahead and buy it there, and we can get a good discount on you. I believe the latest discount is about 35% off. It's a good little bit of money. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.